Good morning, everyone. It's Trader Rob. Today is Wednesday, December 17th. Let's get after it. I could take off that 90% off sale. Looks like Apex now is running 80% off currently. So I believe that brings down a 50K eval down to, I want to say it was 3750. So not too bad. 90% off sale is over with. Did pass 10 more evals yesterday off of the IB low trade. Just took a resting limit order. Set my take profit to 16 points. Stop loss only at 10 because that's all I had for drawdown. And passed that with on that one trade there. So currently I actually have 21 PAs, but I can only have 20 on. So one is still just kind of, I don't know. I don't even know the rules on that. Like how I can, if I don't pay for it, I think I lose it after 2 days, after 48 hours. So got to figure that part out here today. But took a trade. Well, I didn't, but I did. But I had a resting limit order on a signal that I provided to my signal members yesterday on the NQ. It was a short at the 25,403. Pretty much just targeted TP1 on that trade, just because I was not going to be in front of the charts. So typically that's going to be and it was pretty close to a 1-to-1 anyways. On TP1, it was 7, 10, a little over 10 points. So maybe a little less than 1-to-1, maybe by like a point or two, but happy with that. So got in the green there a little bit. So I can delete this guy so we're not looking at him anymore. Got a few setups here that I want to take a look at. And good morning, Michael. Good morning, Keith. Good morning, Steve. Good morning, Coach Cleats. Good morning, Joe. Let's have a day here. All right, so mapped out this little area here. Doesn't fit necessarily the 45-day again. This is my 45-day composite volume, which is incorporating a lot of December's contracts. This is my daily profile here. Obviously, I'd like to see this form a little bit more. You know, obviously your point of control right down here is going to be where the biggest volume is at. So we'll see maybe down here if we have to make some kind of adjustment or what kind of reaction we get to pretty much right at this 25,335 level. That's what I would be looking at. I'll pop a line here. I say it was at the 25. So we'll pop a line at the 25. Just so we got that labeled out. And then to the top side, obviously, again, not much volume here on the daily. Kind of not the greatest either on the 45-day. But here is an area of unbalanced volume, which is going to be sitting at the 25,670. So I will put a line there, just so that we can kind of keep that one on our radar. Go back to where price action's currently at. And then on the ES. So on the ES, we've got a setup that, you know, it's below the point of control here just for the daily. I'm not too concerned with this yet because obviously this is pretty much just overnight action as of right now. But where I do see a pretty decent reactionary point is, and I like the volume profile on the 45-day, is the 68.4950. So I'm going to mark that one off here as well. And then we could take this big guy off just to kind of clean these things up here a little bit. And then to the top side, we've got an area at the 69.23 that I am also very interested in. So let's put a line there. We could take away this. Hopefully this blue shows up on the blue for you guys, I'm hoping. I don't know. It might actually be clearer on the blue than it does on the black. But let me know in the chat how the 6923 label looks up against the blue background. And then to the down, well, and we got the one here to the downside, which I already stated at the 6849. Obviously a stop here, pretty simple. Take this off. Coming into the meat of this big volume cluster right here, I would have my stop placed right around here, and I think target TP right almost right back to the daily point of control. And then I'll take a look here. Let's see here what price action did off the leave here. Okay, you can see why I like the TP1 here. Break of structure, got a level right here. Even though that one got tagged, I'm just gonna go just a little bit lower here. I know splitting hairs there, but and then TP2 would be somewhere right around here. Okay. So I kind of like that there. Stop loss is kind of big, but you guys can see where the defense is coming into. Load TP. All right. Shows up, it's good. Awesome, great, thank you so much. Nordic, good morning. And then we can just take a look at this one up here again. I'm not going to mark this one out yet because I consider this right now a B setup. So I want to see how bookmap shows up in this region if we get up there today. Okay, feel like I got a decent plan here on the ES. Oh. A little bit of CAD, good morning. Q's doing. Let's see if we jump down to the 1 minute. You know, we'll stay on the 5. Stay on the 5 for right now. take off the IB right now. We don't need that. Okay, good. Yes. Okay, we're set there. So the only piece of high impact news for today is oil inventory report at 9:30 in the morning. Got a Fed speaker at 11:30 Central Time, Bostic. And then tomorrow we've got U.S. initial jobless claims, CPI, all at 7:30. NVIDIA's got an AI conference at 9. Okay. I will be posting a schedule tomorrow. We're going to have an early start time, 7:30 a.m. Probably going to have to jump off at about 9:30. So we'll still get in our 2 hours of trading time here. I do like the early start on the streams at 8. Kind of gives me a chance to kind of map everything out and not be so hectic right at 8:30. So hopefully you guys are enjoying that, because I know I am. Now, my other, and I honestly, I didn't put too much thought into this yet. I was up pretty late last night. I think I got off the charts at about 11:45. I was kind of looking at that NQ setup, and I just decided to, I decided just to leave a resting limit order on there. But what I need to figure out a plan for my trades now, because now I've got a ton of accounts. So I got a total of 20 PA accounts. I'm just going to do the math here because I got to figure this out. Maybe you guys can help me. All right, so we got 20 PA accounts. I've got obviously my 2 cash accounts. I've got my 5 funding ticks accounts. And then I've got my Take Profit Pro account. So that's 28 funded, between funded and cash accounts. Now, I'm trying to factor in, you know, I was getting a little aggressive with my PAs. I was going to with two E-minis. Let's just say on the NQ, an 8-point stop, 16-point take profit, 16 to 20-point take profit. So, which I've already kind of done the back testing. I've got 6 months in, and the average has actually gone up to, I think, 37 points is my average. And what I did too, just so everybody knows, the way that I did this back testing, I'm going to bring this down, but I'm going to bring this right back up because I still want to continue to talk about this. So what I did was, going back into February, I took all of my entries. I just mapped out the NQ because it's a lot of work, and I thought maybe I could incorporate ChatGPT or Grok into helping me with this yesterday, but it took about 7 minutes for it to compile all the information, and then finally ended up telling me that it wasn't able to give me reliable data because of the data feed that apparently it needs with and is not paying for. So whatever, I got to figure that part out. But manually, what I've done was I went to every entry and I calculated from the entry. I didn't look at any of my losses because that didn't really need to factor into the equation, because if it's going to be a loss, it's going to be a loss regardless, and it never got to TP1 or TP2. So I took all of the trades from my entry, I mapped the entry and the stop loss, and then all I did was I wanted to see what the maximum move to the downside was. Let's say on a short, and I forgot what the word was. There's a word for it that Grok used that I thought was pretty good. I want to say excursion point, but that doesn't sound right. Anyways, the lowest point that price came after tapping the entry before tapping into my stop loss. And what I also did for every month is I took out the biggest trade, because we had some that were like 80 points or 120 points. So I took the biggest one out of the equation. So hopefully it would be more of like an average, more of a better average than having one like really skewed. And the average was hovering around 31 points, and then added 2 more months to that data set, and now it was 38 points on the NQ. So the way I was looking at it was, okay, well, if my average trade stop loss on the NQ is between that 8 and 10 point range, it's typically how much I need. Much more than that, it gets kind of disqualified. But that 8 or 9 points is typically the range that I'm looking for. So I was factoring in if at a basic 2 to 1, it's gonna hit my win rate a little bit. This is just me personally, just talking out loud through you guys. It might hurt my personal win rate a little bit, but it won't affect, obviously, the win rate of the signals, because the TPs will still be exactly the same where I would typically put them in. But to me, it kind of made sense now that I have the data behind it, that even, let's say, targeting 16 or 17 points, it puts you way under that average of the 37 points. And, just looking at majority of my trades, I look at the ones that hit TP2, which again is a big majority of them. They typically go pretty deep into it. And then there's obviously the whole thing of, okay, well, do you move to break even? Maybe at TP2, do you go to break even? I've never been, you've seen me do it maybe a few times throughout the 7 or 8 weeks that I've been trading live with you guys, where I move my break even. I think maybe twice on my trades I've done that. I'm not a huge fan of it, but, I guess we can make a case for it. It's TP2. You move to break even. I think for me personally, on my style of trading, if I've got a pretty good area of unbalanced volume and they haven't left unbalanced volume between where the price action is currently at and where my stop loss is at, then I feel free a little bit better moving it up. You could also use level 2 bookmap to kind of see after the move if they have kind of put some new defense or new volume pops up. That's actually what sometimes it'll save you, sometimes it'll hurt you, because if there's no volume that pops up right after, typically they're looking for that unbalanced volume. But if they come right back into the area and reload their position, then you could see a retest back up to break even. Sometimes it swipes a little bit higher, so kind of have to work with that one a little bit. That might be a little subjective, which I don't really like to use that, but it's just a part of trading. Or I just stay with what my data showed and kept it at the original stop loss. But to me, being 14 points or 15 points in profit, which is $300, $300 profit on one E-mini, seems a little foolish to let that go to $160 of a loss. So we'll see. That's what I'm kind of working on right now. But yeah, that's what the data's showing so far, and we'll see. Another thought process that I had, and again, I want to get back to this position sizing and accounts for trading, because I think it's a question that I want to hopefully figure out. We got about 5 minutes here to market open. Another thought process that I had is that, you know, I really want to get back into my habit of my footprint confirmations on majority of my trades. And one idea that I had was, you know, if the footprint confirmation comes in, I switched this over here. So let's just say if, you know, I got my, oh, let me just, this line here. Okay. So if let's say my entry is right here for a long, let's just say, or you know what I'm going to say right here. My entry is right here on this long. You get my green candle. Let's just say it was a footprint, a confirmation candle, which it's not, but just for shits and giggles right now for my demonstration, let me just put a line here so we can, okay. You know, and my TP is over here, you know, then if I take my entry up here, okay, where the footprint confirmation, where I get my confirmation, which again would be about 5 points, and I hit my ATM, my ATM order, I now have a stop loss of like 8 points, which would put me probably 3 or 4 points below my entry, but probably nowhere near my stop loss. So that's another scenario that I have to work through, where I believe if I get the footprint confirmation, I just got to have, the confidence in that footprint confirmation for me, and keep it at that 8 to 9 point stop. And, you know, obviously if the footprint confirmation comes below my entry, so let's just say we come down 3 points, which is what I find acceptable drawdown on the NQ, 3 or 4 points, we come right back up, then I'm fine. You know, in those scenarios, you know, my entry, my footprint confirmation is going to come around somewhere right around the entry point anyways, so I should be lining up very closely to my stop loss regardless. So I know kind of a lot of things to think about, but sometimes it helps when you put it out there in the universe. So going back to the situation with the accounts. So this is the total number of accounts that I'm currently sitting at. And so what did we say? Your typical, let's just say your typical NQ trade, let's say we make $350. So this would be times 350. So, I mean, each trade is going to show up here as like $9,800 on this open P&L session P&L scenario. And I kind of have an issue with that, because I also feel like that's what's the word I'm looking for, man? Kind of bullshit. I mean, it's not bullshit because yes, they are all funded accounts, but it's not my typical, that's not my P&L. My P&L for me, honestly, is my cash account. So, I mean, for me, I'm up $600 for the day. Until I get funded, the rest of that is none of that. I'm sorry, until I get a payout, none of that is real money for me. So it's sim funded money. So I kind of have an issue with showing this $9,800 session P&L on a trade, or negative $9,800 on a session trade, when in reality it was either a $600 to $400 win or $600 to $400 loss. If you guys kind of get my point here. So I kind of want to figure out something about that to make things very transparent, and I just don't want to be like, oh, I made $25,000 today because I took 2 trades that were, you know, combined total of 35 points. You know, that's just not like yesterday. Yesterday, I when I came back from work, my session P&L was $39,000 because of the 11 Apex, the 11 evals that I passed. Each one of them were like 30. How much was it that had made 53,000, like 300? I even made an extra $300 I didn't really even have to make on each account. So I don't know. I just want to be transparent, and I don't want this to, you know, I just don't want the numbers to look kind of ridiculous. So I'm trying to figure something out for that. You know, and then the risk on the risk that I'm taking on the PAs, I guess all of the funded accounts minus my cash accounts. You know, I'm looking at it as, you know, $2,000 drawdown on most of them. Some of them, half of them are in profit already. The other half are obviously all starting off at 0 or 50,000. But the drawdown's $2,000. So, you know, if I take the conventional discipline of a cash account, and let's just say max risk at 3% of my drawdown, I mean, I'm talking about, what is this, $60 or something like that. To me, that just, I don't know, it just doesn't seem. I feel like I can add a little bit more risk onto there, especially on a 2-to-1 almost scenario. So, you know, if my average risk on an NQ trade is going to be $160 to make 360, I think I'm okay with that with my PAs. You know, my ES, I mean, I'm sorry, my cash accounts, I'm risking the same thing because I'm still at 1 E-mini. But those are at 7 and 4. So did take a withdrawal out 2 weeks ago, or about a week and a half ago. So now my secondary became main. My main now went down to, actually, I think it's like 4,400 now. Let's see, control center. 4837. So, but 4837 at 3% risk. Let's do that math. What did I say? 4836. That sound right. 4836 times 0.03. So it's about 145. So real close to the 3%. I mean, I'm perfectly happy with that. I mean, that's just, and that's on the lower account. The higher account at the 7,000. That one probably even risk a little bit more, but I think I'm perfectly happy at the 1 E-mini risk point where I'm at there. All right. Be right back, guys. All right, so we're about 5 minutes here into the market. Just kind of wanted to take a look at that 35,336. There was a pretty big order that, well, right there, you see that red line that's coming in right here at the 330, between the 335 and 340. So they are stacking up there pretty well. Pretty strong move to the downside here, though. So let's just kind of see what reaction we get at that at this level that I have marked off here. Does fit nicely on the volume profiles here. So we ran into that first reactionary point. Yeah, no footprint confirmation for me there. No footprint so far. I mean, would have been a successful trade. Which is good. That's what I want to see. That's exactly what I wanted to see right there. Just did not get a good footprint confirmation, but that is what I'm looking for. And now we left... we just didn't break structure yet. So, you know what, let me jump to the 5 minute. Might be easier to do these on the 5 minute for you guys. All right, so break of structure is going to need to be underneath this point of control. So we'll see if we get a break of structure, and then we'll take a look up here. But I can already tell you that sweep was pretty dramatic. I also, the 830 impulsive move, I don't put a lot of weight into, so that's one other thing to kind of understand. So Morgan, I was thinking about the micros on the PAs. The issue that I have, and this has just been something that I've noticed in the past. Oh, the ES. Shit. We're getting pretty close here on the ES. Let's jump over to that one. Let's see what occurs here. All right, let's take a look at the ES now. So we're at the 68.49. The 50s are very well defended, which is pretty damn close to where I'm at. Just don't see much yet underneath it. This is definitely an area of interest for them. So we will look at this one here very closely. Let's see if I get some time here to get... Now let's monitor this one here. Okay, so now they came in really strong at the 68, 48, 75. So right below our entry, you can see there's a lot right there. So that hopefully guys can show you guys that one. All right, let's see if they swipe into the 6850s. They did. All right, that's a good footprint confirmation for me there. And then I'm going to have to lower this just a little bit. There's the swipe. Now let's see some follow through. So now the 45s is probably where they're coming for, which is sitting right here. So you're pretty safe right now on your 68.43 stop loss, but where I'm at, just don't want to. Did come in a little bit early on my footprint confirmation, and that's what the only thing that I was kind of worried about. But the 68.45s is where the level of defense currently is at. Got some resistance right before the TP1. And then after that, 58s look really good. It's kind of aggressive, but see what happens here. Again, my stop loss is not in the best place. It really needs to be at like the 44s, but I just don't want to risk more than that. So I got tagged out of that one, and session P&L obviously looks really jacked up, but so where did they tap into the 46s? That would be unfortunate for me, but I did like the setup though. And where my TP was at, which was like around the 58s, seems like a very logical spot for it to go to. That's TP1. And again, they could revisit this 45s. So I mean, that's their area. That was what I was afraid of earlier. That's the only area spot right now. Alright, that's all it mustered. So I'm only able to muster that TP1. I'm actually okay with where I had my risk then on that trade. So only able to muster TP1. But I will say one thing. That went through about 2,000 contracts right there in this little spot, in this little area right here. That's a huge position size. Huge position size. So we'll see what that kind of means later on. So Morgan, the footprint confirmations on the signals are not, Rob, when you do P&L for the signals defect. No, I do not. No, it's just strictly resting limit order on the entry. Stop loss, TP1, TP2. All right. Let's get rid of this guy. Oh, let me just take a screenshot of this one here. Entry. Two. Can put it here. Okay. Updated that. Now let's get rid of this guy. I liked the setup to get a good footprint confirmation. I had the level 2 data behind me. Bookmap was coming in strong. I don't know what Alexa just did over there, but all right, now let's just see what's going on. Okay, so we're getting pretty close now here on the ES for us to be able to take a look. Oh, so that's my, let's see if I can take that down. Why do I did that? So that secondary chart is so I can get the 45-day profile composite. But I don't know why that just came up on the, is that going to do that every time here now? 1 minute, 5 minute. Okay, no, that was weird. Okay, so I still need to see a small break of structure. Well, we did have a good, decent break of structure there. But the one that I'm really interested in is right here. And yes, I know I can make a case for a break of structure right there. But this is the one that I'm very interested in breaking. So where they left unbalanced volume, it's going to be right smackaroonie here. Okay. Does this look clean at all? No. All of this looks balanced out. You've got wicks coming in everywhere. Really no great break of structure because your level would have been right here. At the 6870 is where I would have drawn my 5-minute level, but all of that got tapped into for the fuel to the downside. Hopefully you guys could see that. So this is an area that I'm not interested at all in. Now we'll transfer over to the NQ. Let's bring this guy down just a tad. And now on the NQ, we got a different scenario. Let's see if I can bring this here. Okay. You've got minor break of structure here, for sure, on the 5-minute. You've got definitely break of structure now here, all from an impulsive move, right? So now let's see where we can find the impulsive move from. And then we'll see how it fits in on our... Okay, so we did have a 5-minute level right here, but that all got balanced out, so nothing great there. That's the 8:30 move. Not super interested in that. We've got a 5-minute level right here. The only problem with that one is that did this level break any structure? No. I mean, yes, you can make a very small case that it broke structure right there. So based on that little scenario, it's a very minor break of structure. So again, that wouldn't be my A+ setup. But if I was going to be looking at it now, the much lower time frame, let's see what occurs there. No. So my area would be there. Well, it does have an area right there. Right there. So we could delete that. How does it look on the volume profile? On the daily, we're in the fair low value area up here, or high value area up here. Only issue is that, you know, it's still pretty early in the morning. So on the 45-day composite, looks a little bit better over here. This one down here is fits nicely on the daily. And this is the problem now with having the two volume profiles. It's not a problem. I think it's still a help for the next week and a half. This is giving me a good picture of March's contract, and this is giving me a good picture of a hybrid of, well, let's just say a 90% hybrid of December and 10% March. So I'll keep this one up on here to see if there's something that can come from there. And then we just keep looking. Be right back. All right, ES broke this mini structure. So we can now fit same scenario as the NQ. So you've got your 5-minute level smack right here. That got balanced out. Then you've got another 5-minute level right here. That really, I mean, that's did not break structure. So not the greatest area here that I would be super interested in. On the lower frame, there's definitely a case to say there's a good amount of volume right there. Which is represented, but you got to go down to the lower time frame. So those setups become a lot less, you know, they're not in the A category anymore. And then they become this like B type of setup where you really need to see bookmap, which will bring it up here. Let's just put a line here so we know what we're talking about. It's 6835. And then if we bring up bookmap, let's take a look at the 63s. So the 62s have got some good volume at 80. The 63s, at 63. So we're gonna see now how they start kind of coming in. So you can see now that the red line, which is your biggest area, you can see how the interest level starts to form at the 68, 63. And that is, that's the premise of level 2. Now, there's a level of defense I know at the 67s, which on the 67s puts me right here, which is where my normal stop loss would be at. So let's jump down to the footprint. This for me would be more of like a B setup, just a straight B. And then TP2 is right underneath there, right where we just had that reaction. All right, so that would look like that. And we wait. And let me take a look at bookmap. Oh. I don't think that, well, I think you just answered my own answer right now. I think that, you know, it's going to just take the open P&L of all my connected accounts. So, all right, let's see what happens here at the footprint. A lot of volume. A lot of volume. '60s, wow. Really defending the '60s, huh? So just so I can show you guys, this is level 2 now. So our entry, I was looking at the 63s right here. The 6860s, which is my TP1. No, there's no secret into why TP1 is at 6860. A lot of unbalanced volume there, so they're going to want to target that on the way back down. We have a small level of defense at the 6865s, but really what I would be looking for is a confirmation footprint between the 62 and 63 number, which puts me right in this ballpark right here, 62, 63. So I'll put this line right here just so we understand. That is, you know, if I get a footprint candle in between here, that would be a good entry for me. Who got that email yesterday from, was it Tradeify or Take Profit Pro? I gotta show you guys this email. I still can't believe this email that I got. I think it's probably the funniest shit I've ever seen in my life. Let's see here, this one. Maybe I shouldn't show it right now because in case we get close to this trade, I want to be in full focus mode, but all right, let me just show you guys this email. So this is notice for Project X traders. This is an important update using the Project X platform. So there, I guess obviously Project X was having a lot of issues yesterday, but this is the part that I thought was absolutely hysterical. During today's December 16 trading session, a critical issue occurred where some traders were able to see price action before it happened. How in the heck is that even possible? So apparently they had to wipe out, oh, let's get focused in. They had to wipe out everyone's P&L yesterday, if you were green or red, because apparently you could see into the future on Project X. How is that possible? I don't know, but I thought that was absolutely hysterical. Okay, so it looks good. Big absorption here. That was a good footprint right there. So right now what's left unbalanced, which I don't want them touching, is right there. The 68.53. That's definitely left unbalanced for them. Let's just see if them come into our spot here. And not touch the 68.53 before that. You partially listened. Don't do that. Don't tap into it yet. Of course he did. Yeah. That may have been the trade right there. May have been the trade right there. And they're going to retest that area because they just loaded right back up. I would like to see a straight shot here now. Don't want any daggling over here. Let's go. All right, so I'm gonna have to adjust this just a little bit. All right, let's see what happens here. Let's see if we get a decent dump. Go. Go. Okay, I like you there. I like you there. Go. 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 Ah. We had it. We had it. All right, let's see if we can maybe get just a little bit more there. I don't want to get too greedy. That's my line right there. Ah, dang it. Dang it, dang it, dang it, dang it. I think I could have got a little bit more greedy on that one. I think I could have targeted the 68.49s, which is pretty much what I was hoping for. So played out pretty much how I thought. Obviously, this area here to here, I said if I get any footprint confirmation in this area between these two entries, which is about a point away from each other, and you guys saw the footprint confirmation was over 100 and something positive to the negative. So there it goes. I knew that was the case. Got a little greedy there, but not greedy. I should have been just a little bit more greedy. I really... Oh man, sorry about that. I don't know what the hell just happened upstairs. So, my entry was at like the 61s. So I put, no, I think it was around the 62s. 62s. No, 60, yeah, 62s, because we tapped right in above it about almost half a point. And believe I had about 4 points of risk on that one. So I started off with 3, and I think I moved it up another point. And that would have been 2, 7. Yeah, so about 6 points of profit. A little bit more than that. All right, so now taking a look at this once again. Now where they are at, let's take this guy off, let's take this guy off, and now let's revisit this. So they obviously swiped a shit ton of volume right here. They tapped into the 62.25s. Now they are defending this area, but now my issue here becomes, and this is why I would typically invalidate now this trade on the secondary push up, is because now we've got a shit ton of stops sitting right here at the 62s. Natural place for it to have stops. We broke a structure down here. This is the swing high, and this is where a lot of the liquidity was sitting at. So that's the first premise. Now the secondary premise is that now they're interested in the 68.70, which puts me right above here. Let me put a circle here. So this is their area that they're very interested in right now as well. And does that line up with my stop loss? No, it does not line up with the stop loss. So based on the swipe that missed our entry by a point, and all of the liquidity being, all this auction being closed out with a natural area of stop loss hunt, plus some liquidity sitting up here, that's where I would say at this point this is no good as a secondary entry into there. So that is my thought and what I'm going to do here, so that if people because I'm still leave this up, invalidating based on sweep. Okay, so I'm going to leave this up just as so we can leave this as a reference, as if price action comes back up here, just so that people aren't confused. They join in a little bit late or not. All right, and then let's see. NQ's in a shit area right now. This is just consolidation. We're not interested in that. We need to see some break there. And the ES is in a buggy little area. We've got about 17 minutes for IB to play out. And then on top of that, you got oil inventory report coming out at 9:30 as well. It does. I see it. But I think I just explained to you on the ES, the liquidity that you're seeing is the stop losses now. Because when we came through, we swiped, I mean, that was probably over probably about 700 contracts that was exchanged here just on this last push. I mean, you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pushes to take all this liquidity out right here. And, you know, I can't even tell you that I was off by a point, because before this trade even came through, I drew the line at the 68, 62, 25, and I even said it. If we get a swipe here, and it was actually at the 68, 62 even, so we swiped it by a tick above it. I said, if we get a footprint confirmation in between this point, I'm interested in. And I even mapped out the secondary level of unbalanced volume, which I know is aggressive. And I was really trying to do my best with just kind of trailing that the best that I could. Probably would have squeaked out another 150 points if I just would have left my resting limit order on that first area of liquidity, which I think was this box, this circle right here. But kind of wanted to win too, you know? I mean, what's the P&L? Okay, so now P&L is 2670. So again, somebody jumps on stream, they're gonna be like, oh, he took a really nice trade. Well, no, I took a loser, and then I took a good risk to reward trade on the ES, which is why I'm up a little bit. But in reality, my cash main is, oh my God, I almost had a heart attack. My cash main, I had the thing there, and I saw 119,42, and I thought it was $119,000. $119,000. My P&L for Rob Live main is 119.42. Rob Live second is 94, and then take profit is plus 155, and all of the Apex PAs are ranging in that $94 to $88 profit. So that's where that number comes from. I get rid of this guy. We don't need him anymore. I don't remember what this line was for, but I think this was for break of structure. Yes, it was. All right, so we've got 14 minutes left for IB to be set, 14 minutes for oil inventory report. Give me 2 minutes. I'm going to refresh my coffee. I'll be right back, and then let's see if we can map out some setups here together so we can learn something here today. All right, I am back. And we are in chop. We're in chop mode here now. So my buddy just texted me. He's super excited. We're going to the casino today at noon. It's our annual holiday casino day that we do every single year, right before Christmas. So he's super excited. I haven't been to a casino in a while. Hopefully my craps action hand is hot today. I do love shooting. I do love shooting some craps. Anybody play craps here on chat? Nobody? That's my game too. Okay. So I'm trying to think blackjack. I like blackjack too. I like roulette, I like blackjack, and I like craps. My wife loves the slots. She loves the slots. Just trying to think of what strategy I should implement today on the craps table. I don't think I've rolled the dice in probably like 7-8 months. Hopefully I don't throw them off the freaking table. So right now, if I bring up Poke Map, the 6860s again are getting defended. They've reloaded. The same participant is reloaded at least 300 contracts here. So this is a big area that you already know because you've already seen it. That big market participants are very interested in this 6860 to 6862 area, which is obviously coincides perfectly with the area that we had mapped out. I say perfectly, but give or take a point. So let's see what happens here. Now, all my feelers, all my thinking here is an invalidation because of the initial setup thesis, was in reality it was off a point, but not in reality because prior to it even coming close to this point, I drew this line out and I even said that this, that there's if we can get price action in between this box, it would be a very good place to take a trade if you had a footprint confirmation, which it was over 100 positive delta with a red footprint candle. So that was a great footprint confirmation. Okay, and then on the NQ, let's see if we can get obviously a break of structure here, break of structure there. And then we've got this area that we were going to take a look at. I want to see how this gets, what kind of inspection we get there. Get rid of this guy. Yes, I'm trying to figure out which game I should, what kind of strategy I should implement today. If I should do like a kind of a low risk grinder strategy. Because I gotta somehow let my money last for about 4 to 5 hours. So we got, my wife and his wife are gonna meet us there for dinner tonight, about 5 o'clock. So I gotta get a strategy here that will keep me in the game. So I gotta probably do a low risk grinder strategy for a while. But craps is so much fun. I mean, it's definitely the most electric game in the casino as far as vibe, and I mean it could work against you too. I mean the vibe could be absolutely terrible at a table too, but there's nothing like a hot shooter. Throw in some numbers. Throw in some hard fours. So yeah, my buddy just texted me. He's like, feels like Christmas. feel that I'm excited. I'm more excited for today than I am for Christmas. So that was pretty funny. Yeah, I'm gonna try not to. That's pretty ugly. Yeah, that's actually a strategy I do use. I do use the combat quite often, especially when I need to, especially if I'm not shooting, other people are randoms. I'll usually just go with at least table minimum on the 6.8, maybe $12 on the 6.8, and then I'll throw $10 on the cum, and then you know, if I see a number or two start getting hit, then I'll do a press on the 6 or 8. But the combat's a nice little hedge there. If they throw 7, at least you win back at least one of your bets back. But like everything in the casino, it could always work against you too. Wow. 550 contracts now sitting between the 61 and the 63. Big. This is the spot this is where they want to conduct. Well, let me see. This could be a big sweep here too. This is gonna be really interesting. Let's see what they've left unbalanced right now. They left this right here, just so I can see what they might want to target. I want to target that. Holy shit, he throws dice for a client? That's crazy. Oh, that's crazy. That'd be cool to have a dedicated dice thrower. I mean, I know every crap shooter says the same thing, but I feel like I throw the dice pretty good. So they swiped this, looks like they're going to swipe this area of unbalanced before tapping in. Which I don't like to see, but it's getting real tight. It's getting real tight on the ES. It's getting real tight on the NQ. This is on the 5 minute. This is on the 1 minute. But you can see this is tight. This is tight. I'm glad I was able to get in something before it expands. Yeah, Nordic, I'll share the settings. Right off the bat, you definitely should get rid of the ask and bid lines and last price. So those 3 lines you should definitely get off your book map. There's no need for them. And that, to me, is just an absolute squiggly line disaster. Okay. Okay. Let's see. See if they can get out of this area here now. Both the NQ and the ES, they are right at the bottom end of this range. Both at the bottom end of the range here. Let's see what you can do. A swipe here for liquidity. Let's see what the NQ looks like. Just, I love my book map up there. It's so much easier. So now I got things everywhere here now. All right, the 240s. So the 240s coincides, I think, with with that stop loss hunt. So these are stops sitting right here at the 240, which is right here. Nope, I'm sorry, right here. So big stop hunt right there. Big magnet for the market. We should hopefully know that by now. And obviously you can see the stop hunts with level 2 very easily. Did I miss the IB? Shit, I did. Man. Oh, so IB low is going to be coming into a big pocket of... Woo-wee. This could be craziness. This could be craziness. All right, let's see what happens here. It's going to be violent. I'm telling you right now, this is going to be violent. Still don't have my NQ on though. Where did my NQ go? Gotta come over here, buddy. I need to look at you. I want to show you guys, but I need to look at it. All right. Ooh, there's gonna be some violence here. Take a breather. Take a breather. Take a breather. Oh, shoot. I'm on the 5 minute. Crapper. Oh, whoa. Told you it was going to be violent. Told you. Told you. Yeah, not much you could do there. Not much you could do there. But the violence, you could see the violence on the book map, man. When you've got that natural of a stop loss and that many orders sitting right at that line, now the defense it has is the 200s right here. This is where you could probably see a, if you're going to get a reversal, could come right here at the 200s. Let's see what it does here. You're going to see a shit ton of absorption here. But it's got to tap into the 200s. Tap in, tap in, tap in. There it is. Let's see what happens here. 101. Ooh, good footprint confirmation. So this could have been a good area for reversal, possible. Let's see. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, that footprint, you can't get better than the footprint confirmation right there. I mean, that was just like absolutely spot on. 162 negative delta, green footprint confirmation, and that was good for probably 35 points. I love this shit. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. All right, so now we got some areas that we can... Now we got some excitement. We got the market moving. ES not so great. So right back into this area. Shit. Right back into that same freaking area. Let's see what we got brewing here, though. Mm-hmm. Not great. Not great at all. This is the only area I see. Let's go down here. So you could see that 5-minute level sitting right at the POC right up here, which would coincide with this guy. Oh, no, I'm sorry. This guy right here. That's the guy. And he does break structure, but just mini structure right there. Let's go to the 1 minute. Let's see what's... Okay. Okay. Yeah, looks kind of wiki. Kind of wiki. You know, on the volume profile, the one that would make the most sense to me would be this top box here. But this looks like it's already been balanced out on the way down. What really didn't get balanced out was right here, this box. And that's where my initial thought process was at. The only issue is your TP1 sucks ass. You're at like 297 here. So, I mean, you could make maybe a case for right here. Not the greatest. Not the greatest. Feels pretty forced. All right, give me 1 second. I'll be right back. And we'll take a look at this guy coming up here at the 25-115. All right, and then so on this, you've got a good amount of retracement down where we've kind of reached into another volume area here. So typically the IB low could also be in play for a fade to the downside. The only issue is that there was a lot of stops here for the fuel, and there's just not much interest being put in at the 45s anymore. So again, you can witness that right here at the 45s. There's nothing here. So it's not really a level that they're super interested in. Now the 25-250 says 25-26 contracts a little bit. So that could be stops from the IB, from the sweep. Just not super high confidence there. Now let's take a look here at the 115s. Obviously, the daily's not giving us much help. The 45-day volume composite is not giving us much help. It's kind of on the wrong side of where I would like to see this sitting at. Bookmap is really not much help here. So again, that's kind of like where, if we're looking at like the 116s, which is right down here, the 115s, all right, it might start to get filled in just a little bit here, but you're probably going to see more when we get to this little beginning meet, which is a much smaller node than what we were just stopped at. But we'll kind of see here. We'll monitor here what it does a little closer to this 117 area. But you could just see the violence, you know, when we were probably 5 points above or 10 points above the IB, I told you this is going to be super violent. And that's exactly what you got. You got to push downside to almost 60 points. You know what I think would be the coolest thing if we can figure out, maybe collectively? How I can minimize Bookmap to somehow include it on my screen where it's not this garbage of, it's just so big. And then when I minimize it down, you just can't see anything. And then you're like in 50-point increments, which does not help you when you're trying to scalp. So it'd be kind of cool if I could figure that part out. Because you guys can also just take a look at it as well. I mean, I know it's going to be a little delayed for you guys, but that's not really the point of it. More the point is the confirmation of levels that we're looking at. Could you run a second stream? Ooh. Yeah, but then can I get sued for like streaming? I know some people stream Bookmap, but like I kind of don't feel like that's very, I don't know. I just feel like that. All right, we're getting close to this area here. I want to switch over to the footprint just to kind of see, but you can see the 115s are coming in. The 115s are coming in just a little bit. All right, let's just kind of see. I gotta move this over. Let's see what occurs here. And you guys can see why I would prefer this to have been on the top end of the profile, right? I mean, that's exactly where the reaction occurred. So hopefully all these things are great footprint right there. Great footprint. Now that was a good trade right there. That was a great footprint right there. Granted, I don't think it would have gotten us much. So no. But there was a good footprint confirmation there for, I don't know, at least minimum 10 points. But yeah, did not get respected. I mean, it had the reaction. I shouldn't bitch and complain too much, but let's see. I'll tell you right now what that would have been. Ruler. You got to jump down to like your 10-second chart. Ruler, 12 points. So that would have definitely been a TP1, close to TP2 action right there, which is good. I'm happy with seeing reactions. I'm happy with that. It's a little tricky right now because I don't really have the full volume picture right now. I'm kind of using a hybrid of two models here, but Morgan took an L there. An L where? Did you take a trade here at the 16th? because that only got up to 12 points of profit. Let's see if I jump down to the. I think 3 seconds is enough. Let's see. Doo-doo. Let's see. Let's just do its thing. It's gonna take a little while here. Got slip bed. Yeah, the reaction came quick. It's gonna take us a couple seconds. Then drop down to the 3 seconds, so it's got to go through a shit ton of tick data, and I haven't loaded that up on this screen. Got to load it on the other one here. Yeah, so right here, that was your reaction right there. So that would have been good for ruler. Let's say your entry was right there. 13 points. Very little drawdown. I mean, it's exactly what I'm looking for every single time. I mean, that's the premise. Let me drop out of this 3 second Jungaroony. Okay. Get rid of this guy now. Now let's see if there's something to the downside that we can take a look at. Did we break structure? Oh, we sure as shit did. And it looks decent on the volume profile here. I don't know if we're going to get an opportunity. This one could come quick. Let's see, let's see, let's see. Is that it? Yes, it is it. Kind of balanced out right before that. Freaker. Shoot. Shoot. See a reactionary point here, but I just don't see. I don't see a good TP. Very weak TP. I actually think the muster really came from right here. Almost incorporating the entire box. Just too much risk there. About 14 points of risk. I still don't have a very good TP. I really want to give you guys a setup here, but it's just not. It's not clean. It's not clean at all. Big stop. And my biggest issue is TP1. I mean, that's tiny. It's tiny compared to what we're risking here. So, I mean, eventually things got to make sense, you know? Things have just got to make sense. 6 points to risk 14.5 points is shit. And I knew coming into... Whoa. Why did you do that? Why did you do that, guy? Let's put this here. Okay, we just made another push. Hmm. Had to come right back into that. Love this. Wow, we're dropping here. Holy camoly. We are dropping off a cliff over here. We are in uncharted territories on both composite. Might have to switch over on this main chart to the 120, like I got over here on the side. Yeah, you're right. Jesus. 1,121 contracts on the ES. So somebody's order got filled. Be right back, guys. So that absorption does make sense to me. On the ES, if you remember, I said that we absorbed about 1,000 contracts in this neighborhood right here. Big player kept coming in at the 6860s. You could literally see it's big institutional order that came in, and he came in like 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. He got reloaded so many times. So it does make sense to, if you're going to unload your position, to unload it in the low value area where he might have a little bit more trouble there. That's a thesis. That's that's a big, really big picture auction theory. I might not be too smart enough for that, but that does kind of make some sense now. And here I was happy with my 6 points. That could have been a 40-pointer. No. Holy shit, that could have been like 60, 65 points. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Doesn't mean nothing. All right, so this area on the NQ, right here, 25,109. Let's see how that coincides here. 25,109. So the 110s are, so we got somebody kind of flip-flopping here between the 100s and the 110s. Let's see. Let's see how these 110s here start coming in. Because we might have gotten rid of a lot of the selling pressure now. That's one other thing that we got to kind of consider. Mm-hmm. Looks like the sellers are still in control here. Don't see much either for it to buoy back up. 12s, 25,000s, psychological number. Mm-hmm. Yeah, not seeing a lot of interest at the 10s. Not seeing a lot of interest at the 25 10s. 25 100s, I guess I should say. All right, buyers stepping in now. Slam back down. You get a big red thing here, we could see another drop. Some good amount of absorption there. And this is how volume is formed, guys. This is how your profiles are formed. You guys saw that this had nothing, and now you can start seeing coming out to the left. Obviously, a big area of interest. Either we found a floor or we have some serious selling pressure still left. Uh, 24,961. That should have been. I thought that's reset already. Trade signals. December 12th. 24,961. Yeah, that's. Sorry, I'll update that right here, right now. Entry. Contract rollover reset. Mold. And yeah, I think the only signal right now is that ES short. The 6950s. All right, 6950. We're looking at the 25 110. And to me, not a lot of interest. $105 stepped in for a second. Not interested. They're just not. This is not an area. This shaded area right here. It's just not being supported by volume. So da 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 da. Okay, now they're stepping in. Bulk of the interest is still in that 215 to 120 area. The 115 to 120 area, I should say. Sellers are trying to push this sucker down. It's funny, the lowest number is 25 110. The lowest number out of the whole sequence. You know, if the reaction could come, it could come at the 115s to 120 area, which would be sitting right up there. Just kind of make a little bit of sense to me. Let's see what happens here. All right, I think we can move this guy down. Let's see if it goes right through it or not. Okay, no footprint confirmation there. Nothing yet. Nothing yet. So it did tap into the 115s, like I said. But there you go. No. Now you got the footprint confirmation on the sweep. You got it right there. 45 positive. 45 positive delta. Red footprint. Good footprint confirmation. Good for at least 12 points. 15 points. It's the power of the level 2 and footprint charts, man. It's great for your confirmations. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of this. Yeah, it was perfect. It was a perfect footprint confirmation. Remember, tomorrow's stream, guys, is going to start at 7:30 a.m. Central Time, so an hour before the market opens, and we'll go till about 9:30. I got a Zoom hearing at 9:45. Good 2 hours. What's your thoughts on that email that I got from Tradeify? How could Top Step X customers see price action before it happened? What's everyone's theory on that? Because that makes no sense to me. Here's the email. December 16th session will be wiped for everyone. At the close today, we will be wiping out December's trading day entirely for all Project X traders, whether you finish red or green. I mean, as a trader, that's devastating. I mean, good or bad, but just the fact that you even had to do that, I don't think I've ever... maybe I think back in the day, a couple of years ago with Apex, they ran into some issues like that, but here's the crazy part. During today's December 16 trading session, a critical issue occurred when some traders were able to see price action before it happened. So that's to me, the way I understand that is that's a functionality that they have in the back end that to see what price action is going to happen. I mean, how does that even make sense? How does that even plausible? I mean, talk about opening up yourself to a shit ton of conspiracy theories now. All right, Take Profit Trader just announced a no fee 40% off sale, which I'm going to actually buy one more. I really do enjoy. I told you that I went over my buffer for Take Profit now, so now I'm in the area of being able to take daily payouts, and 40%. So it's get 40% off all test accounts and never pay an activation fee, while still enjoying day one and daily withdrawals in Pro. Copy trade up to 5 accounts, end of day drawdown, no payout restrictions, no consistency rule, no daily loss limit, no buffer zones, 90% profit split. It's not bad. I might pick up one more eval, even though that would bring me up to like 29. And another thing too, does anybody know, does Replicano have a limit on how many accounts you could trade copy to? Let's ask chat. There's no hard-coded limit to how many accounts Replicano can copy trade, but it's recommended to keep it manageable, around 20 for performance. Replicano uses a leader-follower model, copying from one main account to many others, even across different machines via the internet, but supports one leader to many followers. Okay, so they're saying recommended is 20. Well, I'm already at 28, so that's a little dicey. All right, almost getting a break of structure here. We could take a look at what's going on right up here. We can get a jump on it, though. We can get a jump on it. Let's find a trade, man. Let's find a good setup. Hmm. All right, so here's your 5-minute level. We just did break structure right here at the 25,104. We do have some unbalanced volume here. It looks decent on the volume profile on both sides, but we're on a very low volume area. But remember, this was the area that we were consolidating for a good amount of time. The only issue that I have, maybe I could see it on the 1. Let's see if I can show it to you. My biggest issue is on the lower time frame. My level would be right here. Right here. And as you can see, to make that move to the downside to break structure, we tapped in here and we swept. So it even needed the fuel right above here to finally make its way down. So again, those are the techniques that I use to kind of invalidate setups from A to B to C. But as far as volume profile on both sides, even though we're in a shrunken area of the volume profile, fits nicely there. You do get a 5-minute confluence on a level. Let's see what the 15-minute looks like. I'm sure it's not going to look good. It's going to probably be all down. Yeah. See, you can even see it on the 15-minute. You can see exactly what I'm talking about. So we had a nice strong drop. And what did the market have to do to continue the drop? Tapped right into this unbalanced volume area. Now, if this wick wouldn't have been here, if this wick would have been like over here, this would have been a very clean setup for me to take. Got a 5-minute level. You got the volume profile that looks pretty decent there. That would have been great. But you can already see how this already got kind of balanced out. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Trade Syncer. Yeah, I think I saw a YouTube video on them. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I don't have any issues with Replicano. As you guys can see, I mean, when my trades close out, they all close out. I don't really have a lot of like ghosting issues or open, non-executed orders open. But I'll take a look at them. All right, so I updated the banner now with that new take profit promotion that they're running, 40% off, no activation fee. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think that it's almost 2.5 hours on the stream, so let's getting kind of sideways here. I'm gonna keep taking a look at the charts here through the afternoon, and I'll let my signal service members know if there's any juicy setup that I see form. There's one on the ES that looks about a B right now, but not the greatest. Not the worst. But yeah, if you enjoyed the stream, hit the like button on the stream. I truly appreciate it. We're getting closer here to finding some good A+ quality setups, and I do like the price action because now we are forming new volume for March's contract, and let's just see if we can make a push here. Even though I'm not interested at that 110s at all. Yeah, I'm not. So I don't need to sit here and wait for it. All right, guys, take care. I'll see you guys here tomorrow morning. Remember, tomorrow's stream starts at 7:30 a.m. If you haven't hit the like button, doesn't cost you a penny to do it. I appreciate it. If you're looking for any evals, Apex is 80%, Tradeify is 35%, Take Profit Pro is 40% off, and Funding Ticks is 25% off for new users, 15% off for existing users. Nothing super special there. Always use code TraderRob. Super appreciate it. Had a lot of fun today. Yesterday and today have been very, very entertaining for me. So with that, stay patient and see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully I'll see you guys in the red and the green.